I want to tell you guys a story about what just happened to me. And I'm not saying it because I want to get on to a certain business or I want to, start a movement towards, a certain industry or anything like that. I want to tell you this because I want you to be aware of it and aware of it in your own businesses, in the party rental business. So I just went and got lunch at a fast food restaurant, and it was 11:20 when I pulled up. So we're into the lunch hour. We're not, just starting or swapping over from breakfast or any of that stuff. Initially, I pulled up to the drive-through window, and the person on the other side said that their system was down and it would be a few minutes. So I said okay, and I pulled around and I got out. I went inside, washed my hands. I figured, what the heck. And as I go up to the counter, there were some other customers that she had told, and they left kind of frustrated. And the young lady is obviously trying to work through the system to get it back up. And the whole time she's complaining to her other coworker about how the system is down and they can't keep working like this. And I understand that it's frustrating. But my thought immediately goes to the business owner who has entrusted this business to these employees. And it is the middle of rush hour, and they have run all the customers out, and they are not trying to pursue anything. Immediately what entered into my mind is why don't you take my order and cook my food, and then we'll wait on the system if you have to wait on the system, or whatever. But they didn't do that. It was we're not doing anything until this system works. And again, everything kept coming back to me and about the business and employees and the whole nine yards. And what it boils down to is that we have entered into an age where we have tried to dumb down the job so much that the employees have no leeway to make a decision or do anything. It's always by this system that we have created, or else it is nothing. And then we walked away from the system and said, you guys handle it. Call me if you have a problem. And, meanwhile, all of this is going on. Well, the system came back up in a few minutes, and I stood there patiently, and it wasn't a problem. And again, I was really kind of enjoying watching the drama of the situation play out, because you have an employee who is at a job, who's being paid to do a certain amount of job. She's done none of that. The cook has done none of that. They're not working at all, and they're complaining at the same time that they're still going to get paid. The owner is the one that's going to be out of all the money that they pushed out the door, and the customers that were unhappy, and the whole nine yards. And then I noticed the other things that were going on. That the drink machine was turned off because the owner is trying to recoup some of this money and make this situation where they're cutting the corners and pinching the pennies anywhere that they can. And so finally the system comes up, the cook goes back and starts making the orders. She puts the stuff in and gives it to the computer, and she hands me my bill, and it was almost $17 for lunch, and I didn't get any extras. I literally got a medium drink and, you know, a number 3 combo. $17. for what I felt was poor service, because I had to hear your employees complaining. I had to hear your system breaking down. I had to beg for a drink and not have a refill. When you're waiting in line at a restaurant and they give you a cup and you go over and you fill up the drink and you take a sip of it, and then you kind of mess around, maybe I'd like to do this, or I'll add a flavor or something like this, and you try something else. All of that has several different meanings and several different purposes for it. It's keeping you occupied, giving them time to make your meal, and it's also, instituting, and it's literally pennies. It doesn't cost them hardly anything for a drink. The cup costs more than the beverage. It's pennies. So to cut corners on that, to make your money off of that, is the huge mistake for management and for the owner. And then not training your customers and not allowing your customers or your employees to work off the fly is a huge mistake. Because what happens is your employees default to zero, and then when that breaks, then, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sit here and get paid. Not how it works, not how it's supposed to work. And your management team is subpar, and the owner's not there, the store manager's not there. No, nothing is working. And we have a breakdown. And then you have a customer that leaves with substandard service, substandard food, and a $17 bill. We're doomed if this is the way that we're going to continue. Now, the fast food industry is not any kind of surprise to anybody. We've been going through this. They keep saying we can't find help, and we keep saying the service and food is terrible. But we still do this dance. We still go there, and they still provide us with bad service and bad food, and yada yada yada. But that's going to come to an end. And if you take all of this information in and then you flip it into your business, into the party rental business, into the bounce house business, and the tent business, and the whole 9 yards, there are some lessons that need to be learned here. And the lessons are very, very simple. One, your problems are not your customers' problems. So do not ever let them see behind the curtain. Period. Don't give them excuses. Don't give them reasons, purposes. Don't show them your flaws or anything. If you are late because of a flat tire, you are late. Your problem, not theirs. Number one, your problems are yours. Number two, you have got to train your employees and give them enough leeway so that they can make decisions on the fly. If they can't, you are doomed. You're doomed. You're not going to be able to continue doing business if you have a business where your employees can't figure out where the bounce is put up. There's a situation going on. I hit a sprinkler. I had a flat tire. What do? You need to come fix this. The customer says that they don't have the right amount of money, or they can't run their credit card, or what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Your employees have got to be able to figure this stuff out on the fly and be able to move. And you need to be trained, and they need to be happy, and you need to teach them to be happy. You can teach your employees to be unhappy. They are literally, in this establishment here, they are literally putting up with unhappy customers. So naturally, they're going to be unhappy. Nobody wants the food, nobody wants to pay the price, and nobody wants to wait. Lose, lose, lose. All three on this one. So what do? They make it worse. You have to not make it worse. Train your employees and give them the knowledge and the confidence to make decisions on the fly, and then stand behind those decisions. And then the last lesson, number 3, is price. If you are going to charge premium, you better be freaking premium. Stop. Just because you can get it means you have to get it. You are killing yourself, because honestly, I'm not going to come back to this. Not for $17. Not for bad service and bad food and a bad price. I'm not. Immediately, the first thing that popped into my brain is that how can I substitute this? Can I cook this at home? Is there a different restaurant that's cheaper? What can I do? So again, sometimes we can't help the things that happen. We can't stop the bad, and we can't stop the negativity. And things are going to pop up. Weather is going to be bad, and other things are going on in the people's lives, and they can't do it. But you need to have you need to be that light in the darkness. You need to be the means in which the customer is moving away from problems. And thank God everything else went haywire, but at least my bouncy guy or my party rental girl was able to pull things together and made it so easy for me. And the price honestly wasn't that bad. We as an industry control the price, and we can continue to feed into this. Well, I've got to have X amount of dollars, but I'm going to tell you folks, you need to listen to this. And this comes from a guy who I raised my prices this year. And I know, I see it, I get it, I understand. You have to pay your people more, you have to pay for your gas, the whole 9 yards. But If you rent a bounce house twice, you make X amount of dollars. If you rent it half as much, you make half as much. So a bounce house that rents out for $125 will make you $250 off of 2 rentals, and you'll get those 2 rentals because you're cheap. And I don't know that $125 is cheap, and I don't know that it's expensive in your area. I'm just using that as an example. But on the flip side, a bounce house that's $250 they're not going to spend that kind of money as much. They're not going to do it. They literally will rent a bounce house on an off weekend, for $125. They're not only going to rent it if they rent it on special occasions, birthdays, if it's $250. And again, that's an example. It is not a standard. So don't. You know your market. You know your customers. You know your equipment. What I'm trying to tell you is that we need to hold the line when it comes to getting out there and not, fill this full of something where people are looking at the receipts and just shaking their heads, because I'm not coming back to this. I'm sorry. And that means that that young lady and that young man that are in there that are complaining about their job are not going to have their job. Not because of me, but because of me times 100 people who are tired of it, tired of putting up with it, tired of dealing with it. And the owner of this business and the manager of the store did it because they literally did not allow them to do more. You want to hire the lowest standard that you can, and you want to dumb it down and take everything out of it and make sure that they don't steal from you or whatever. Wouldn't you be better off just paying and treating someone good and not having to worry about theft or loss or them throwing food out or them, shooing customers away? It's something that we need to think about and something that we need to correct in the industry. I hope this helps you guys. I hope that you get something out of this video and all the videos. Please share, please like, let everybody know about us, and come back and see us on the next one. Thank you very much. We'll see you then.